Hey ladies, I just wanted to let you know that if you're only listening to the video, that I do show pictures and videos throughout the video while I'm talking, so you might miss something. Hey ladies, what is going on? Happy Friday, it's the weekend. This is Nava. Hit that subscribe button on your way in, y'all. And let's talk about raising better males and the oppression of women globally. I was going to make two separate videos talking about these things, but I think that they both go hand in hand. And I wanted to talk about raising better males because I have two sons. And they are your typical boys, 13 and 18 years old, and they are dirty, they are greedy, they eat up everything, they don't listen, they're hard-headed, they lie about stuff. These are things that you have to drill into boys not to do. Like, if it's one piece of chicken in the refrigerator, don't eat the last piece without asking, did anybody want it? You tell them stuff like this. They'll just go eat up everything, leaving the refrigerator open, not like just the whole nine. But anyway, the first thing I want to say before talking about raising better males, ladies, is that we need to completely stop birthing in 2025, and not just males. I think we need to stop birthing males and girls. Females. I don't like calling girls and women females, but I do try to call males because they disrespect us like that. So I try to make a practice of calling them males now. But anyway, I think we need to stop for like a decade. I think women need to just stop having children because this is not a world that we should be bringing them into, male or female. Look what we got in the White House, y'all. Look at it. Look globally what these males are doing to each other and to everybody else. It's way before we can even try to correct the situation that's going on right now. Women have to stop giving birth. And I know for some women that's going to be really hard because women live in countries like in Afghanistan, like in Africa, where like the rape is just rampant, India, it's rampant everywhere. So if you can do anything right now it's about to start getting worse in America with the people that we have in the White House, because I feel like they're trying to do so many things that is going to set us back at least 125 years. And we know that when men go to war, which is what they're trying to do in the White House, that women and children are casualties. We just know it. So I keep telling y'all to get your girls on birth control, get yourselves on long-term or permanent birth control, get your weapons, get your pepper gel, get your spray, get your pow, do whatever you got to do right now. I say within the next 2-3 weeks, months, get what you can and do what you can to prepare, because women are already at battle. This president is making so many laws to just oppress women, but I'm gonna talk about that later. But what I want to talk about now is just me, because I have boys, just some of the things, y'all, that I'm doing to try to make them just a little bit better. I don't know. I don't think the United States is going to be here in the next 3 or 4 years. I think Trump is trying to take us all out. I think he's trying to take everybody out and just start with a fresh slate of middle class to upper class, just white people. Truly, I think he's even trying to take his own people out. But so for those of us who might still be here and have sons already, if y'all are pregnant right now, I feel so bad for y'all. I really do. I'm all over the place, but I really feel, I don't know what to tell y'all. All I can tell y'all is to try to find a group of women or girls that can help you, because I don't care whether you have a man or not, you're going to be doing the majority of the work. So please try to find women that can help you and support you. And it's going to be hard because people are busy out here trying to survive. So I really don't know what to say to women or girls who are pregnant right now. It's hard for everybody. But anyway, some of the things, I'm just going to get a little personal about my life. My boys are 13 and 18. I spring clean my house, y'all. Every quarter I spring clean, but recently I stopped like cleaning my kids' room, like not recently, like the last couple of years. I stopped cleaning their rooms. I stopped cleaning their bathroom. I stopped being the mom that was always like yelling at them, y'all need to clean up your room, clean up your bathroom, because it was like messing with my energy. It was like stressing me out. And some of y'all know I'm a Virgo and I cannot do too much stress. And one thing that stresses me out a lot is just a nasty, dirty house. And that if you're that type of person, I suggest you don't have kids at all, because it is another level of stress when you have to constantly clean up behind them. So what I stopped doing was stop yelling at them. I stopped cleaning their room and I stopped doing all that. And I started doing like just spring cleaning. Like every quarter I would go clean their room, like deep clean it, get all the old clothes out of their drawers so I could see what they needed. I would pay my mom to help me, and then I started just paying her to do it by herself. So that is what I'm about to have to do again. So I'm giving them the option. My husband owns his own construction company, and sometimes he gives them jobs. So like today he took them out. Well, he didn't make them go to school, and they went to work with him. They're like power washing in some apartments, and he pays them like really good. Like my 17-year-old, I think he paid him like $1,100 one time to power wash with him over the weekend. And I'm like, shit, that's more than what I make. So that's good. But my 17-year-old is like so irresponsible with money. He will spend all of that on just fast food if I let him. Like he would eat out every single day if I let him. So when he pays them that good, I usually like make them put a certain amount in their savings account, which is what I'm gonna do. But today, like I'm gonna probably record this when I have this conversation with them and let y'all hear it later. But I'm going to give them an option. You could pay mama to do it. Both of y'all pay mama $50 and I'll deep clean your room and your bathroom. You could pay your grandma to do it. Both of y'all pay your grandma. Or you could do it yourself and I'll sit there and make sure you get it done right. They're going to have those three options. I'm no longer cleaning their room for them. That's just done. So that's one little thing that I'm doing. So because I don't want them to think that women are here to clean for you. If they see me cleaning up behind them all the time, that's what they're going to grow up and just automatically is going to be in their head. If they see this on TV, they keep seeing their moms doing it, they keep seeing their girlfriends do it, it's just going to keep going. So women are never going to get a break. We're never going to get help. We're never going to get rest, because we have women out here who are just killing themselves doing it all. And that's why the divorce rate is so high, like for women filing for divorce. But another thing I do, I don't cook often because I work, y'all. I just got off of a 10-hour shift. I'm not about to cook like that. But another thing I do, I love cooking. So when I do get a chance to cook, I do get in there. But I'm not supposed to be doing it on my husband's demand. Like, oh, are you going to cook dinner tonight? I want you to cook dinner. None of that. They never seen that. Like, I get in there when I want to, when I feel like it, and I enjoy it because I like cooking. But when I know I'm going to be in there for like 2 hours or more cooking like a big dinner for all of us, I make my sons get in there with me and cook with me. They don't want to sometimes, but I make them do it because they need to learn some life skills. And I pick recipes that we have to follow for dessert and for dinner. That way they can learn how to follow instructions. They'll ask me sometimes like, Mom, what's next? And I'm like, what? You tell me. What's next? What does it say? And this helps them to, a lot of boys don't like reading, so they end up being illiterate. My kids are no exception. They do not read anything. I try to get them to read. They don't want to read. And so they can read, but their comprehension is trash. Like most boys, most males, they don't comprehend. So I make them read the recipes to try to get them to follow, recipes. So, like last week, we got in the kitchen I got in there with my youngest son first, and we made sticky toffee pudding. That's like a dessert that they make in the UK. Y'all, it was Gordon Ramsay's recipe. It was so good. And then we just made it again a couple of days ago, and I made it with my oldest son, and I made him follow the recipe. Y'all, my back is... I got to get at least 25 pounds off of my back before the summer because, it's kind of wide right now. But I'm not fat shaming, but I just don't like my back to be big in the summertime because I get hot. And I got like, I have, what's that? Hyperhidrosis when you sweat too much. Like I sweat like a 500-pound man under my arms, my feet, my hands. I take meds for it during the summer. But anyway, I can't like gain too much weight. It just disgusts me. But do stuff like making them mow the lawn. Like, both of them mow the lawn now. Both of them take the trash out. I try to keep the kitchen and my bedroom and living room clean, but they do help with dishes and like stuff like that in the kitchen. But mainly I gave them their room, their bathroom, and like the back part of the house. Like, I was listening to Sovereign Woman earlier, and she was talking about boy moms versus moms who have boys, and she was talking about the women who like bring their sons will bring the girlfriends around, and they bring like different women around, and the mom will not let the woman know or the girls know that he's bringing all of these girls around and that her son is trash. My 18-year-old, as far as I know, he might have had a couple of little girlfriends when he was younger, but he's never brought a girl home, or even, I don't even know if he's talking to any girls. But he knows the type of woman that I am. He wouldn't be able to do it around me. He knows. Like, I even tell him, son, are you talking to a girl? You could bring her around. I want to have dinner with her, because I'm the type of mom that's going to tell her, like, if he's no good, like if I see he's not trying to achieve anything in life, I will let her know, like, why are you with him? Like, I'm one of those types of moms. I'm the type of mom that the pick-me's and the mammies would look at me like I'm crazy. Like, why would you do that to your son? Like, they would look at me like I'm just different. But anyway, like, yeah, it's just so many things. Like, my oldest son, he knows how to put up like the post on the like fence. We got like the old wooden fence, and our posts keep like falling off because they're old. We need to like replace it. We need to get with our neighbors and, I don't know, let them know we want to replace it. But my husband taught him how to do that. But now I'm about to teach my 13-year-old one how to do it, because, well, I'm gonna have my oldest teach him, because he's the one that goes back there and like kicks the balls and like knocks them down when they're already like falling. He'll knock them down, so he's gonna learn how to put them up. Stuff like mounting TVs. My husband just like put like new wall mounts, because we were like moving TVs around and we needed new wall mounts. And I told him, like, go get your son so he'll know how to do that. My husband, he has a habit of just doing stuff. He's the type that knows how to fix pretty much everything, and if he doesn't, he's going to figure it out, because he's in construction. He's always been like the type, if I don't know it, I'm going to figure out how to do it. So we don't never have to call anybody. Like, we remodeled our whole house like just alone. But yeah, he's the type that doesn't, like, I see this with a lot of black men. They don't think it's important to teach their sons how to do what they know how to do. Like, he knows how to do everything, and he doesn't think that you got an 18-year-old now, like, you need to teach him to do this. Even if this is not the skill that he's going to do for the rest of his life, he needs to know these skills. They will come in handy. Like, that's the reason that they're working with him now in power washing. He needs to learn how to manage money and make money and not spend it irresponsibly. He has a car that has a belt on it that's squeaking that he needs to go get. He needs to learn how to go to the auto store and talk to people, because, you know, a lot of black males are like antisocial. They don't have like very good communication skills with people. That I don't know. I just think a lot of males are antisocial. But yeah, he doesn't get out a lot. So he needs to learn how to go talk to people and do stuff on his own. Like, he has to go get his driver's license changed over, because he had a restriction on it, because he was underage when he got it. But now he's 18, he has to go to the tag agency and learn how to talk to those people and take care of business. So, and it's hard for me, because he just turned 18 like a couple months ago, and before then, I was used to doing it. Like, I would schedule his dental appointments and vision appointments, and I still have, but now it's time for me to let him call and make the appointment, drive himself for his, eye doctor, dentist, and all that. So I know it's hard, because we've been doing it all these years. But y'all got to let go. Like, y'all got to let them do it. He has to call and get his graduation cap and figure out how to do all that. I just told him that today. I'm not doing it. If you don't get your cap and your gown and figure out how to do it, you just won't be like walking across the stage with your cap and gown on. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So it's just little stuff like that like moms don't know how to just let go. Like, prom, he wants to go to the prom, but he's not saying anything about it. He's not looking for clothes. He's not doing anything. And like, I run into little girls like at the store, like they're working. Like, at Tropical Smoothie, my husband said he ran across the little girl that was working at Tropical Smoothie, and she was like 17, and he started kind of conversating with her, and she was like talking about how she's working to buy her stuff for prom. A lot of girls do stuff like that at 17. Boys do not, and their moms don't make them. Their moms will like do it for them, like buy it for them. Girls are like, no, I'm going to do it myself, or their moms are like just mammies and favor their sons, and they make the girls work for what they need, because I don't know, like, people are just weird when it comes to girls, like, worldwide. But like I'm saying, like, if we want this world to have better males, to like not in that males that don't expect women to just come into their lives and just do everything for free, we have to start this at an early age. The moment that they start making a little bit of money, you have to start, like I know my baby he's 13, but my husband will pay him like $300 or $400 depending on the job that they're doing, and he needs to know, like, you're not going to keep all of that. And if I'm about to deep clean your room, you're going to pay me or your grandma something. I probably won't charge no more than $50, but from this moment forward, like, if y'all got money, and I know y'all got money, y'all are going to pay for it, because nobody is doing this for free. Like, I'm not even cleaning your room up for free, like, or at all. But yeah, but anyway, all of this leads to the oppression of women. When we don't teach our sons how to do these things, they just grow up just expecting it, and the girls are taught just to do it. Like, and I just need for y'all to start talking about this stuff, because it is about to get worse. With all of the laws that Trump is putting into place, with the whole no-fault divorce being taken away, and with the restrictions that they're putting on, like, just abortions and stuff, like, women, if you have sons, you're going to need to know how to deal with them, even if your husband is in the house, because you are going to be the one that's dealing with them, most likely, because everybody's been taught that mom is the one that gets shit done. Which I don't know why y'all still think that men are the leaders of the household if they're not leading the household, if the women are the ones doing all the stuff in the house. Like, why do we still think that they are the natural leaders and they cannot even multitask like us? And I'm noticing that with my boys when they're in the kitchen with me. And that's another thing that y'all need to start teaching them. Like, when you're cooking, like, because my boys get in the kitchen and they cook for themselves, and they leave a mess everywhere. Even when we're like doing like dinners together, I'm trying to teach them, no, you clean up as you go. Like, food is on the cabinets, wipe it off as you go. You don't just sit there while something is cooking and you see the kitchen needs to be cleaned. Like, don't sit there and watch the water boil. Like, okay, wipe off the cabinets, wash some dishes while you're waiting on that to get done. Start on something else. But like, boys do not naturally know how to multitask like women. Like, I know I can cook dinner, I could be reading a book, I could do laundry, I could do all that at the same time, cleaning up all at the same time. It's just nothing for us. And males cannot do it. And that's another reason I'm telling y'all, they are not leaders. They are not supposed to be our leaders. If they can't even do half of the stuff that we do, they can't even like think to do half the stuff that we do, that tells you a lot right there. But I see America becoming more and more oppressive towards women. Like, I think Trump is trying to take us to like a Afghanistan type country. And I think that because he's like, it seems like he's purposely, a woman birthed him, by the way, y'all, and Elon. A woman birthed him and Elon, and they were like boy moms. Y'all heard Elon's mom talking about she wanted us to work for her son. He came from a boy mom. But where was I at? Yeah, I think Trump is like trying to get rid of everybody and just trying to create a world of his own, a kingdom of his own that's more like Russia and Afghanistan, where it's more like just white people, like a certain type of people, and then a certain type of woman, and we can control the women by taking away all of their rights. Y'all, in Afghanistan right now, those women over there, they can't show any part of their body. I just heard the other day that they have drones flying around to spy on them to see if they are like uncovered, or if they don't have on their hijabs. Is that how you say it? if they don't have those on, and they will get punished if they don't. They cannot speak over there, y'all, in public. They can't let other women hear their voices. They cannot become doctors, and they cannot go to a male doctor. Did y'all hear me? They cannot become doctors, and they cannot go to male doctors. What does that mean? That means that if they're having any kind of medical emergency and they just die, or they just got to help each other and treat each other, the women, they can't go to hospitals because they can't be doctors, and all of the doctors are males, and they can't go to male doctors. I know that sounds crazy. Y'all don't think we're privileged enough to think that, oh, that would never happen here. Like, we're back in segregation, y'all. Like, they brought back segregation. We're in Jim Crow. They still have sundown towns. Like, it's legal to be racist now. Like, y'all are talking about that would never happen. Women are dying here in bleeding out in parking lots because they had they're having a miscarriage, and the doctors are scared to help them because it's against the law in some states. Women are going to jail because they had a miscarriage, y'all. If y'all don't believe me, like, miscarriages are caused by janky male sperm. Most miscarriages and pregnancy, like illnesses like preeclampsia and that like violent vomiting, that is caused by janky old male sperm, or by sperm that is not healthy because men don't eat healthy. They smoke, they drink, and shit like that. Just imagine you have a miscarriage because you mess with a man with dusty, janky sperm, and you lost your baby. You're like traumatized because you lost your baby, and you go to jail. Don't believe me? Look it up. Don't believe me? There are stories on it. Look it up. And this is going to get worse if we don't get Trump out of the White House. It's going to get worse. So I just wanted to talk about some of the ways that women are being oppressed. That Afghanistan is one. Russia, you cannot tell women, you can't talk about being child free in Russia. You get fined for it, and they're trying to punish women for talking about being child free. Women are talking about being child free here. Do y'all not think that they're going to start? I feel like this is why TikTok is going away. They're trying to get rid of the First Amendment. They're trying to get rid of free speech over here. We all love TikTok. So that's why I'm trying to get all of my TikTok followers over to YouTube. I'm already being censored so hard. Y'all, I had this channel for over 2 years now and don't even have 2,000 subscribers. I know that people are telling me all the time, I subscribe, they will not let me get past 2,000 subscribers. My new channel, White History Month, y'all, I know that they're playing with my channel already. They don't want us speaking the truth. They don't even want their own people speaking the truth, because White History Month, y'all, if y'all don't know my other channel, it is white people over there telling the truth about their own people. It's not me talking. I don't even talk over there. I just show them telling the truth. Y'all should check it out. It's a really good channel. So far, I only have 4 videos up, but I'll work on part 5 this weekend. But let's get to some of these videos about some of the things that we can do to raise better males. And I want y'all to see what is going on around the world with a lot of these men, what they're doing to women. And they're doing this because they outnumber us, y'all. And they outnumber us because in many countries, they were taking the baby girls out. They were making laws against having too many baby girls or having baby girls at all. Everybody favors males all over the globe. They outnumber us, so they're allowed to oppress us. Whenever somebody outnumbers the people that they're trying to oppress, they can do it easily. That is why we're being lied to here about a certain type of men outnumbering, a certain race of men or people outnumbering us. That's a lie. They don't outnumber us. But since they make the stats, they can tell us that. It's just a scare tactic. They don't outnumber us. A lot of us know that. But let's get into some of these videos about what you can do to raise better males and what is going on around the world with some of these males. And I'll be in and out with my commentary.
And provider son as a mom. Give him duties and make him get a job, and don't pay for everything. Make him do the work. Make him do all the man work in the house. Him take out the trash. If y'all have the lawn, if y'all don't pay for lawn service, have him take care of the lawn. Tell him get a job as soon as he's able to get a job, and make sure he knows how to fix stuff, or at least get stuff repaired or find a way to get it done or whatever. Make sure he is a man of his word and does what he says he's going to do. Don't allow him to procrastinate when things got to get done, because men should not be procrastinators. Because when they got to get it done, they got to get it done. Make him go above and beyond his duty. Teach him to be mannerable. Teach him to open doors and be a gentleman and all that stuff. Okay. Teach him to do all of that. Teach him how special and sacred a woman is, and that they are not to be someone's 50-50, and that if he wants a woman or a wife, he needs to be sole provider, not the other way around. I know it's hard because, that's your child, that's your son, and you don't want some woman taking advantage of him. But at the same time, you don't want some woman, feminizing him and not allowing him to reach his full potential because he's, using her to build on, and he never built for himself. You will never know his true potential if he's always building on a woman's back and thinking that she's supposed to do this, this, and that. He will never reach his full potential alone. So he will always need a woman to even feel like he's thriving. And you don't want that. Not from a grown man. So you need to teach him to get it so he can be provider for a woman. Okay.
This message is for all the moms with teenage boys. Here are 3 tips to get your kid off the boob. And what I mean by that is you need to be raising men, not little boys. Tip number 1, when they're around 14, make them start cooking for themselves. That way you set them up for when they go to college. They're going to have to learn sometime, so you might as well teach them. Tip number 2, make them do their own laundry. They smell, they stink, they have clothes that are disgusting from sports. Let them handle it. And last tip, let them make their lunch. Needs to learn how to be a grown man, not be constantly coddled by mommy. I'm telling you, if you don't raise a man and let him fly free, there's going to be a lot of issues. He's going to be living in your basement when he's 35, still expecting you to cook for him and cut his steak up. You can thank me later.
So ladies, I came home and this is the conversation I had with my boys about what was going to happen with their rooms. I gave them 3 choices and this is the conversation we had.
Can I come in?
Yeah.
Open the door.
Yeah.
I gotta talk to y'all.
What?
Okay, so this weekend,
Oh, yeah.
Listen.
I already saw the text.
we gotta get y'all's rooms deep cleaned. What do y'all got? 3 options.
I'm not paying.
My stomach hurts.
Listen, come here.
I'm not paying.
Okay, well that's why you got 3 options. Either you could pay me or your
I'm
grandma,
doing it myself.
and you're gonna do it exactly the way I want you to do it. I'm gonna sit there with you until you get it done the way it needs to be done. You're not gonna have to do it. So if you're gonna do it yourself, you're gonna
How
do
much
it.
do you pay, Grandma?
No, y'all were gonna pay grandma
No, how much do you
more than what y'all gonna pay her. I'll pay her more.
How much do you
Y'all gonna pay her $50 if she do it, and if I do it, y'all gonna pay me $50.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. What you want to do?
Do my own room.
Do you hear me?
Yes,
I'm
you watch.
not gonna
yes.
sit. No,
I know.
I'm not gonna let y'all take all day to do it. I'm gonna sit here and make sure you get it done right.
All right. Stomach, bro. Mom, leave me alone.
How much your daddy paying you?
I don't know, like 1,000. I don't know.
He told you?
Probably the same as usual.
How much he paid you before?
Like 1,000 something.
Okay, y'all both said you want to do it yourself?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to pay me or your grandma? $50.
No.
You know it takes usually all day, right?
I don't care. I'm keeping my money.
Okay. We're going to do it yourself. And I don't want to hear no complaining. Y'all going to have the list. You're going to do the list exactly what the list say. Because it's deep cleaning. It's not.
You just want to take off 50, huh?
You can do it yourself. But y'all going to be mad at me because you're going to do it exactly the way me and your grandma do it.
Well,
It ain't going to be no hat. It's your drawers, your closet, your steam cleaning, everything.
well, the only thing that needs to be done in my room is mine.
You think that.
My
You
drawers.
think the only thing that needs to be done in your room is your drawers. Deep cleaning is way more than that. It's your curtains, your sheets, your blankets, your carpet, everything. It's your drawers. You got to get all your little clothes out of there, organize your drawers, all of that. That's the choice y'all want? Y'all want to do it yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
How do I raise boys to become men who stand up for themselves yet aren't misogynistic if possible? Hi, Heather. So before I get into it, yes, this is entirely possible. But I would just like to say the fact that you feel the need to ask if it's possible to raise men who can stand up for themselves without being misogynistic is very indicative of the problems in our society with regards to misogyny and toxic masculinity. This is a great question. Now, I am a parent, but I am not a parenting expert. So please, I welcome anybody else's suggestions or input on this post. So for anyone who may not know, let's start by clarifying what misogyny is. It is a hatred of, a contempt for, or a prejudice against women. So expanding the scope a little, we don't want to raise our children to feel like they have to hate or have contempt or prejudice against anyone else in order for them to feel powerful, confident, or like they can stand up for themselves. Love for self does not need to be linked to hatred of others. Now, I am raising both a son and a daughter, and I am married to a man. So in my house, a major piece of this equation is that I am married to a man who is not a misogynist. This doesn't mean that we don't have our issues, and it doesn't mean that my husband is a perfect man, but he is a man who respects women. So from the day that my son was born, he had that example of a man. And vice versa, my son, since the day he was born, has had an example of me as a woman who respects his father. As parents, we model mutual respect, encourage that to exist between our children. In our house, gender is not a part of that. We're respecting each other as humans. It's kind of like that's the whole point. Now, I have witnessed a lot of ridiculous expectations placed on little boys, sometimes while they're still in utero. And I have been judged for the following, but I don't give a single fuck. I don't assume that either of my children are straight. I don't push them towards gender-specific toys or activities. You will never hear me say to my son, man up, or boys don't cry, or that boys will be boys bullshit. Part of me raising a son who I hope will not be a misogynist is encouraging emotional intelligence and empathy. He happens to have been born a boy, but we don't associate any toxic masculinity with that. When my son hurts physically or emotionally, I nurture him and validate that. And so does my husband. And so does his sister. We're a feelings family. I'm sure it's a shocker for some of you, but I am a woman who voices my opinions, including when I'm in front of my children. I think it helps that my children, but specifically my son that we're talking about right now, gets to see two well-rounded human beings as parents. Both my husband and I try really hard to be able to be sensitive and vulnerable, as well as assertive and independent. We're modeling being whole humans, so that none of those traits feel foreign or like a threat. We're teaching both of our children about boundaries and consent. A very popular phrase in our house is that person said no, you need to respect their no. Keyword respect. Because although I think my son is fabulous, the reality is that at some point in his life, he will experience rejection. And I want to encourage him to understand that when you experience rejection, it's okay for your feelings to be hurt, but that doesn't mean that you get to force your agenda anyway or be aggressive to the person that's rejecting you, including women. I'm teaching my son to take responsibility for his actions, both teaching and modeling accountability. I'm teaching him to listen to his body and value strength and productivity, but also to value rest. We remind our children constantly how wanted they are. As a married couple, my husband and I are conscious to model healthy conflict. We're not perfect and we don't always succeed, but we're definitely trying. And as far as not raising misogynists, this means that in healthy conflict, we're not putting each other down or calling each other names. Not that we've never done that. Again, a work in progress. So my son is seeing that my husband and I are able to disagree with each other without disrespecting each other. We are very particular about the other people that we let in our children's lives. There are no misogynists in our social circle. So even in other relationships, my children are witnessing respectful interactions. Our kids have come to us talking about some of their friends' parents being two mommies or two daddies. And out in public, our children have noticed that people have different color skin than we do. And in both of those situations, the only thing that we do is celebrate that. They have two mommies or two daddies. How wonderful is that? Yes, that person has a different color skin as you. Isn't that cool? Isn't it beautiful how people can have different colored skin? As parents, we are very mindful not to encourage prejudice of any kind. It's my personal opinion that aside from the ability to birth and breastfeed, a father should be able to do everything a mother should do. My husband and I both work, and my husband and I are both still parents. And we express gratitude to each other for all of the work that we do, both behind closed doors and in front of our children. So aside from my actual job as a therapist, my son does not see strict examples of things that are only mommy's job. I try my best to speak to my children with respect, and I also make it known to them that they need to treat me with respect as well. So if my son does something or says something to me that I feel is disrespectful, I'm going to hold him accountable for that, but I don't shame him because of it. I don't let my son watch shows that encourage aggressive behavior. My son by nature is a very rough and tumble kid, but you can roughhouse and be playful without hurting people. When it comes to my children's extracurricular activities, we praise them for trying their best, not just for winning. We tell them how proud we are of them. We tell them it's okay to be frustrated when things don't go your way. I know that it may seem in this video that I'm a bit all over the place, but I really do feel like all of this is connected when it comes to raising men that are not misogynists. Because for me, a lot of it is about validating children regardless of their gender as human beings. Also, please do not get it twisted. This does not mean that I am raising children who don't know how to stand up for themselves. I'm not worried about it because neither one of my children were born passive. But best believe that Mama will be teaching her children how to craft a clever comeback. Fuck around and find out class stays in session. So this is all that I can think of at the moment. I really hope it was helpful in answering your question. But by all means, if there's anything else that you want to know, please don't hesitate to ask. It is possible, but you have to be purposeful.
Single mothers, love your sons. Don't listen to all of these naysayers that say that you can't do it and you need a man around and it pushes you to chase a man to try to come in to help you raise your sons. Don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do. You raise your sons to the best of your ability and protect them. You can't trust every man with your son. And it's better that you don't even bring men into your home when you are raising your children, period. Stop looking for men and chasing men. You can make it on your own. All you got to do is believe in yourself.
Let's have a coffee, and I'm going to tell you a few tips on how I raised my teenage boys to get them ready for their wives one day. As a mom to boys, you are the first woman in their life, and the way you act will determine a lot about how they treat, act, and approach women. Number one, I let them charm me. When they mess up and I'm upset and they want to come back to me and act all cute and charming, I let them. I don't ever want them to feel discouraged to own up to their mistakes in life. So if they try to make me laugh, I laugh. And I listen to their explanation. I'm open to hearing them out because if I'm hard on them, I will discourage any desire they have to ever approach a woman or a situation once they've made a mistake. This gives them the confidence to be light, funny, and not overdramatic. 2, I teach them to give me a Mother's Day and birthday gift every year, and more importantly, a card. This is important for women who are dating as well. It's the fact that they have to think to get out of their way. Now, when they're young, they do it for me. But when they get older, they're going to get used to doing it for their significant other. I want them to get used to expressing themselves with words because as women, it's never enough. Never enough validation. My 16-year-old son wrote me this for Mother's Day, literally. Dear Mom, by now I have written you so many cards that you should know what I'm about to say, but I know you want to hear it anyways. Cards just mean so much to us. And not a text, we want cards. 3, I make them take care of the dogs. We have 2. One of my kids walks them every day. The other one makes sure that they have water and food at all times. It seems simple, but that responsibility at a young age will transfer to all aspects of their lives. Taking care of something makes you empathetic, makes you a better human, makes you a better person. It doesn't have to be a dog, by the way. It could just be even a plant if you don't have a dog. 4, having dinner together is non-negotiable. We come before our friends, their friends. It comes before work. It comes before the phone. This time we have together is priceless. Even if it's just 40 minutes, I want them to value that, and I want them to value it with their families as well. Finally,
okay, not everyone has to agree with me. I completely invite opinions, but I do have to say something about this comment because it's an interesting one and it's the complete opposite of what I'm talking about. Granted, we're both talking about raising a strong son, just going about it differently. What I'm talking about is an internally strong son that can express himself. What you're talking about is a soldier who can't express himself. Let's look at Sparta because you've mentioned that boys should be Spartans. Okay, so from the age of 7, Spartans were taken from their mum to enter military school to toughen them up. This idea, this stereotype of toughening up boys is what leads to depression for so many males. Their feelings are repressed. Their emotions are repressed. They can't express themselves because they need to be tough. They need to be a man. But what it does is it sets our boys up to fail. It sets our men up to fail because in the end, they're machines. They can't express themselves. And that's what leads to a lot of suicides. In the US, 78% of suicides are from males. And this has been linked to the high expectations that are put on males. For dominance, for control, for not expressing emotions, for hiding everything. I want my sons to be able to express themselves. If there's something going on for them that's troubling them, I want them to be able to talk about this. I want them to have a great relationship with their partner where they can dive in emotionally about what's going on. Anything in the world they want to talk about, they can talk to their partner about it. Their partner can feel valued and respected. None of this man built the world. No. Man didn't build the world. Men and women built the world. So rather than talking to your comrades about what the world should look like, maybe, I don't know, ask your son, ask your wife, are they happy? Because that's really what we're talking about here. Anyway, just my opinion. Feel free to respond.
So, as y'all can see, it's going to take a lot from women to raise these boys alone, and you have to start early. From the moment they are 3 and 4 and 5, you have to start, and you have to be really consistent with it. And it's going to be a lot, especially if you're a single mom and you're working, and sometimes you just want to give them an iPad or sit them in front of the TV because you don't have time to spend with them. That's not going to work anymore. If y'all want to fix this problem, you're going to have to be more hands-on than ever before. And this is why women need community. This is why we can't raise kids alone, especially in this society. But all of these things are going to help if we each start doing them in our own way. But if we don't, we're just going to keep getting the same result. And we're going to end up getting men who are doing stuff like what you're about to see. I'm about to show you some videos of what the men are doing to the women globally because they don't respect women. The women were raised to worship men and to just bow down to men. And which is crazy because y'all women go through so much trying to bring these creatures onto the planet. It's like we risk our lives to try to get them here. And then you end up worshiping them and bowing down to them when you could have died. And a lot of women have died trying to bring them onto the planet. And we're allowing them to just destroy everything. It's crazy to me, but I'll be right back.
and need our help right now. On March 31st, 2025, the Pakistani government is set for mass deportation of Afghan people back to Afghanistan. Among them are 60 Afghan women, women rights defenders, and their families, which face imprisonment, torture, and execution under the Taliban regime. These women are human rights activists, defenders of women's rights, and the future leaders of Afghanistan. They are determined to rebuild the country once Afghanistan is free from the Taliban. But if we don't act right now, there will be no future for them. Why these women need protection? Number one, 2/3 already have been arrested, tortured, or raped by the Taliban for their activism. Number two, deportation from Pakistan means certain death or lifelong oppression for them. Number three, they're currently enrolled in a personal leadership program by Heartfelt, preparing them to rebuild Afghanistan's future. They're under daily threats, even in Pakistan. Police harassment and targeted raids are intensifying. Just this week, police raided homes where Afghan refugees were staying, including women and children. It's a quote. One of the husbands of the women in our group was arrested again, threatened with deportation, and only released after a letter of protection was handed over, along with a bribe. Others were not so lucky. Families have been left on the streets with children in the dark. Videos of the latest raids came through on New Year's Day. And one family has already been deported back to Afghanistan, facing direct threats from the Taliban. Who are these women and women rights activists? Zahra was a teacher and women's rights activist. In Kabul, she organized protests under the slogan, "Bread, Work, and Freedom." The Taliban did not tolerate dissent and identified her as a threat. During a protest, she was arrested, tortured, and brutally beaten, suffering several spinal and eye injuries. After her release, she received repeated threats, her home was monitored, and her family was pressured to silence her. The Taliban has spread her name and photo at border checkpoints, ensuring she would be captured if deported. She is not alone. Fariba, another activist, was abducted in 2023 and repeatedly tortured and raped while in Taliban custody. The Taliban tried to break her, but she refused to give up her rights for freedom. Thanks to international pressure, she was eventually released and fled to Pakistan, but even there she remains unsafe. Taliban operatives in Pakistan continue to threaten her life. For these women, silence is not an option. They are the future of Afghanistan. Despite their trauma, they continue to organize protests, publish statements, and raise global awareness of the horrors faced by women in their country. They dream of returning to a free Afghanistan where they can help rebuild their homeland. But without their help, that future will never come. I repeat, the petition is in my bio. You can sign it and please share it with everyone you know because we need to save these women and save Afghanistan.
Conor McGregor raped his victim Nikita Hand while she was wearing a tampon, a doctor testified in court. On the first day of the trial, Nikita made it clear that she would never have sex while she was on her period or wearing a tampon. Throughout the trial, Conor denied that she had a tampon in and said they had consensual sex. He said, "There was no tampon in, not from what I could see in broad daylight, not from what I could see or
Women in Afghanistan have now been banned from becoming midwives. Midwifery and nursing was one of the few remaining rights of education and a career that women had left in the country. Now, according to reports, students have been ordered to no longer attend classes after sources close to the Taliban told the BBC that they received orders to shut down medical institutions until further notice. Charity Human Rights Watch said this would lead to women and girls dying due to a lack of proper healthcare in childbirth, because the Taliban have also banned women from being treated by male doctors unless a male guardian is present. Afghanistan already has one of the highest rates of deaths in childbirth in the world, with one woman thought to die every 2 hours. Since the Taliban took over in 2021, women have been banned from attending parks, going to the gym, and even speaking to each other in public. Anyone who protests against these violations face severe punishment, including torture and imprisonment. So can anyone do anything to stop this? Just this week, the International Criminal Court said it is seeking an arrest warrant for Taliban officials over what it describes as systematic oppression of women in Afghanistan. It said the Taliban's actions will not go unchallenged.
So 4,000 men escaped from a prison in Congo, and their first instinct wasn't to run away. They went into the female prison, raped 150 women in there, and when they were done, they set the entire prison ablaze with all those women. And only a dozen of those women survived. And some people went as far to justify that these men have been in prison. What do you expect? Is it too much to expect men to be humans and to not be cycles? Is it too much? And people wonder why women will choose to bear time.
Imagine this, you suffer a miscarriage so severe that you are found unconscious and bleeding out in front of your apartment building, and then when you arrive at the hospital, you're greeted by police. Police who then charge you with concealing a death and throwing away a body for a miscarriage. This isn't the plot of a dystopian horror film, this happened to a 24-year-old woman in Georgia. Instead of the headline here being "Woman Arrested for Miscarriage," media is covering it like this. And headlines like this are because reporting is being done based on information fed to them by law enforcement. The same law enforcement that arrested a 24-year-old woman for having a miscarriage because she disposed of the remains in a way they didn't like. And yeah, you too, maybe you look at this and say, whoa, she wrapped up the remains of her miscarriage and threw them in the trash? I don't think that's the way to do it, and you're entitled to that, totally. But pregnancy loss is personal. How we deal with that is personal. I think we can all agree criminalizing it is not the answer. At the end of the day, we should be able to agree that this woman needed medical attention and support, not jail time. But this is what fucking goes on in post-Roe America. The story is new and still developing, so stay tuned, give us a follow.
You are a woman in 2024. How does it feel to grieve the concept of romantic love? As we speak, Texas is working on the process of eliminating no-fault divorce, which means that even if you are in physical danger, you must prove your way out of a marriage. Every woman who has ever been abused understands that your abuser will go to great lengths to cover their tracks and to leave you with little to no evidence. In fact, most men who physically and emotionally abuse women have incredible reputations in the public eye. This is one of the most dangerous times for American women, because this isn't just the way things have always been. What is happening right now, is a spiteful response to the progress that women have made. It is very purposefully to hurt you and shove you back into the 1950s, back onto your Quaaludes, back to having no bank account, back to having to get married if you want anywhere to go after your parents kick you out. They are trying to shove us back 100 years. They hate you because you are surpassing them. You are surpassing them in education. You are buying more homes than young men are. You are more well-spoken. You are reading more books. You are funnier. You are more talented. You're starting to make more money than they do. You're leaving them in the dust. It is forcing us to look at the fact that romantic love, the concept of romantic love, was always just based on a man's ability to control you and to feel like he was better than you. Because when push comes to shove, I can tell you from personal experience, if a man thinks you're better than he is, he's gonna do everything in his power to make sure he destroys you. If you are in a marriage right now that is iffy, if you do not trust that man with your whole fucking life, it's time to run before this comes to your state.
There was a thing in the 90s called the bride burning, which meant there was a lot of brides being burnt in the area I lived. And what I mean by that is they were giving their husbands baby girls. So the women from the community and the mother-in-laws and the father-in-laws would blame the bride, and they would pour petrol over the girl and set her on fire. And the police would turn up and disappear thinking it was a suicide. And they would say that they didn't know what to do, they didn't want to get mixed up in it. So I was literally dodging my father-in-law, because on the weekends he would tie me up with metal coat hangers around my ankles, and the metal would actually dig into my skin, and he would strip me so I couldn't move. I would sit there and soil myself because I couldn't use the bathroom. And I was really, really scared. I was scared of everything. I was very skinny because I had an eating disorder. Every time I would plate some food at the end of preparing a meal, my mother-in-law would throw it into the dustbin. And tell me, she would tell me to eat out of the bin. Because she said, it's not your father's house. And you don't deserve to eat like one of them. And at first, I used to try and get food out of the bin because I was hungry. But then I just gave up. Sorry.
Today's edition of Laws That Are Taking Away Women's Rights, we have fetal burial laws. These laws force women to decide if they want to bury or cremate their abortion. Talk this through. So if a 13-year-old child is by her father, she goes to one of the very few clinics left in her state. She passes by protesters screaming at her, calling her a murderer. And then once she gets in, has the procedure, has a waiting period, so she has to come back. Then when she finally comes back to have the procedure, after it's completed, the healthcare professional then has to ask her, well, would you like the remains cremated or buried? Trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma. Well, we're not sitting by for this one. A petition we're taking all the way to the Supreme Court. Please sign it, share it, link in the bio.
You know, Chinese women only got full control over their own childbirth decisions until recent years, as late as 2017. In 2017, a heartbreaking case made Chinese national headlines. A pregnant woman in labor was in extremely pain. She begged for a C-section. She even got down on her knees, but her husband's family refused. They insisted on a natural birth because they believed it was better for the baby. She was in so much pain, she was so helpless, so she jumped off the hospital window and killed herself. That tragedy was what it took to finally give Chinese women the right to make their own medical decisions during childbirth. Let me say that again. The right for a Chinese woman to sign off on her own C-sections was bought with another woman's life, and it only started in 2017. And I did a little bit of research for women to sign off their own C-section. In the US, it's 1973, England is 1985, France 2002. For decades, a woman's right to make medical decisions during childbirth, control over her body, it wasn't hers. It was in somebody else's hands.
FGM, and why is it widespread in parts of Africa? FGM stands for female genital mutilation, also known as female circumcision. It refers to the practice of removing external female genitalia for non-medical reasons. FGM is a harmful traditional practice that has no health benefits and often results in severe physical and psychological consequences for girls and women. Immediate health risks include hemorrhage, shock, infection, HIV transmission, urine retention, and severe pain. An estimated 200 million girls and women alive today are believed to have been subjected to female genital mutilation. Most are performed between 5 and 9 years old. In some areas, a female genital mutilation is carried out during infancy, as early as a couple of days after birth. FGM is often seen as a rite of passage into womanhood, a way to preserve chastity, ensure marriageability, or uphold religious or traditional beliefs. FGM is often driven by patriarchal structures that prioritize male control over female sexuality and reproductive health. 84 countries in the world have domestic legislation that prohibit the practice of female genital mutilation.
In part one, I explained how Texas Republicans are targeting highways to try to prevent pregnant people from leaving the state to get an abortion. Keep in mind that the first immediate goal is not to enforce it. It's to just scare women out of escaping the state on their own. And it's to provide men with a legal avenue to sue women when those women do not receive the man's permission to get an abortion. I'm not saying they never want to enforce it, though. The strategy of starting with local ordinances is that they can start to work out some of the kinks before they try to introduce it at the state and federal level. The biggest challenge is going to be arguing that this is constitutional, as the Constitution protects our right to interstate travel. Big problem right now is that even though these ordinances are likely unconstitutional, there's no one to sue. So these Texas cities keep passing them. These ordinances purposely create a private right of action, meaning that it's private citizens who are supposed to enforce the law. So there's no government entity to sue, and no private citizen has enforced this yet. So there's just simply no defendant. But enforcement or not, there is harm. When cities pass these ordinances, it emboldens the next city to pass the same, which normalizes debating women's human rights. Attitudes shift, and it continues a legacy of women being legally less than in this country.
I'm in the car, I'm driving home, but I just want to talk a little bit about this recent news coming out of Russia that women will now be fined something that was like the equivalent of $4,000 if they talk about or push the upside, the advantages of being child-free. So they can no longer tolerate women talking about consciously, deliberately, and with intention being child-free. Now, if you dig into the numbers, I think something like they're losing 400,000 people a year in terms of population. So more people are dying than are being born. And so they cannot keep up with the labor needs that that country is going, that Russia has. And so they need more women to have babies. And so instead of coming up with policies that would make it to where women like would actually want to have a family, they're just making it illegal for you to talk about being child-free. And we can look at that and be like, oh my gosh, like they're so crazy. We would never. But yes, we would. Because first of all, America just elected a man who Putin is his daddy. And we are being, like, through Donald Trump, we have now become like a Russian, like, satellite campus. And that shit's coming to a drive-in theater near you soon, y'all, because this is going to start happening here in the United States. Now, I don't know if this is true, but I did see a couple of creators on here who make child-free by choice content saying that some of their videos have been, that they're no longer available, that TikTok said they violated community guidelines. And they're like, what? I've made 1,000 of these videos. So it's maybe already happening here. And here's what makes me feel so frustrated. I'm too old to have kids. I had my kids. I'm done. And what I'm so pissed off about is that the Republican Party has offered approximately zero incentives to help young people start and have families. What they're doing instead is just they're going to national abortion ban, and then they're going to come after birth control. And so what they're going to do is just take away any mechanisms that women have had around family planning for the last several decades. And they're just going to make it impossible for you to not get pregnant. And this, if we go down a slippery slope, like I can play out a scenario in my head where eventually women say, okay, checkmate, we won't get married, we won't have sex with men. And I see if this plays out, then eventually we're going to see instances of sexual assault and rape go up, especially marital rape. And that to me seems a logical conclusion if this all continues to play out this way. What if instead we lived in a world where Republicans, who now control every branch of our government, said, here are the ways in which we are going to incentivize and make it easier for you to have a family. First of all, we're going to give you paid family leave. Right, that would be just a starting place. We're going to guarantee not only maternal leave, but paternal leave. We are also going to make it easier for you to be able to purchase a home. We are going to forgive your student loans so that you can free up the payments that you're making every month that you could put toward having a family. Like, there's nothing in their platform that is designed to make it easier to have a family. So I'm going long, but here at the end of all of this, here's the takeaway for me. I'm freaking pissed. I'm so mad. The day after the election, my youngest daughter, who wants a family one day, said, well, I guess I'm never having kids. Because now it's become too dangerous to get pregnant in at least in the state of Texas. And I think eventually in the United States, because I believe firmly that they will pass a national abortion ban and they will do it fast. It will come soon. And it's going to be too dangerous to be pregnant now, because if something goes wrong with your pregnancy, they will let you bleed out in a parking lot. And that isn't just an imagined scenario. We know that it's happening already. My little TikTok isn't going to change any of that. But man, I'm hot.
Anti-choice groups are now looking to physically punish women who can't produce a healthy baby. When women need to end their pregnancy because the fetus is no longer alive or has severe complications, they don't want the doctors to offer them a pill or a non-invasive procedure. They want the doctors to force these women to either have a birth, which is traumatic in and of itself, or they want to hack through their bodies with a C-section, which is completely unnecessary. They want to punish these women with unnecessary physical pain of a C-section, hacking through their body, causing them weeks worth of pain and discomfort for no reason. If a woman can't produce a healthy child, then she needs to be physically punished. That's where we are. So, good luck with that.
So, ladies, I'm not saying that you trying to raise better males is going to stop all of this, but it is a start. Society is always going to have a bigger influence on your boys and on your girls, but mainly on your boys, than you will have. And that's why I said at the beginning of the video, I think the best option for women right now is to stop giving birth for at least a decade, because there are so many of them that have like this group think mindset. Trump is trying to start a civil war. He's making enemies with all of our allies. He's going to get his war one way or another. And y'all, it sounds crazy, but a lot of them are going to take themselves out. A lot of them are taking themselves out by self-deletion, but maybe Trump knows something that we don't know. Maybe he knows that we need to get rid of a lot of them because they think like this and act like this. And maybe that's what he's trying to do. I don't know. I definitely know he's trying to get rid of the ones that don't look like him and the ones who aren't in the same tax bracket as him. But yeah, people are running around talking about, or men mostly are talking about, the birth rate is dropping, and men are worried about the birth rate dropping, but women are not, because women are the reason that it's dropping. So I'm like Bourbon Bougie. Let the birth rate plummet to hell, or at least until women outnumber men, where we can be in a safer world where women can take back their natural place and start nurturing the earth and reviving the earth, because they have killed it, y'all. They have literally killed it. They're literally like planting more male trees so that we can get less fruit. I don't know if y'all know it, but we have female and male trees, and they're purposely planting more male trees, which don't produce as much fruit as the female trees. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure it's for some nefarious reason. It always is with them. So any woman that is like, well, we need to birth more babies in a world like this is a woman that I probably wouldn't be friends with in real life, because I just don't understand why and how you could be in this world and not see what's going on, especially with social media, which is why I think they're really trying to get rid of TikTok, and it is going away on August 5th. And I've been on Red Note, and y'all, I'm starting not to like it over there because I'm seeing a lot of racist stuff over there on Red Note too. And I'm sure that only started happening when everybody started migrating over there. I don't know. I think they're watching Red Note too. I think they're probably like seeing who's on there talking about Trump so they can swoop us all up. I really think they're watching everybody, and they're trying to like get everybody who is against Trump. I don't know why I feel that way. I just do.
Probably because of what they're doing to my White History channel. And probably because, like, when we find stuff like what I was telling y'all about a couple of videos ago, I found an article that said that Black people are the #1 serial killers and school shooters in America, like throughout the whole entire history of America. They're putting stuff like that online, and when we run across it, we're like sharing it on TikTok and on here. So they don't want us to be able to share stuff like that. If you live in America, like I said, everybody in America knows that's not true. So yeah, y'all, I'm not saying that Raising Better Boys is going to prevent this right now, because I think we're in the late stages of, we're just in it's America to me is gone, y'all. It's already gone. We're just waiting for the final. This is like, I'm not even gonna say the calm before the storm. This is the beginning of the storm. We're already in it. We're back in segregation. They're trying to make kids work, and you know which kids they're trying to make work. You know, the poor kids and the Black kids. They're trying to get us out to march. They're trying to get Black people to march. We know why. You know, they can't deport us, so they have to find other ways to deal with us. And if we know anything about America, the ways that they deal with us is they incarcerate us, they take us out, they oppress us, and they just do what they have to do to stay on top, because that's just the nature of most men. Just violence, wickedness. Like, that's just their nature. All you have to do is just look around the world. I just showed you their nature. And the women, our nature is supposed to be to protect each other, to protect our children, but they found a way to take us out of that. A lot of us don't even have like foresight anymore. Like, most of the women I'm around, they don't see anything. They don't hear anything. They're not paying attention. Most of the people around me are like that. So I come on here and talk to you all, and hopefully some of y'all will be on the same page with me. But yeah, ladies, it's time for us to start sharing these videos. Like I said, it's time for us to share them while we can, because I got a feeling after a while, Facebook, YouTube, everything that we're communicating on is going to be gone. Our voices are going to be gone. That's all I have for now, y'all. Hit that subscribe button. Please share this video. I know it was long, so if you're at work or something, it'll probably be a good video to listen to. That's where I listen to most of my videos while I'm at work. I work 10-hour days, so I love long videos. Get down in the comments and let me know, if y'all have sons, what are y'all doing? Are y'all doing anything different than what you heard on this video to kind of raise better sons? Are you planning on having more kids? Like, let's get down in the comments and start talking more, ladies. I will talk to you next time. Bye.